Welcome to the series where I test out the OSRS Wiki money making guides. I started this series almost a year ago, and since then we've tried out multiple methods even if they're a little silly, such as picking bananas or even flax. If you enjoy these types of videos, then feel free to check out the playlist that I've made for them, and feel free to leave a suggestion down in the comments for a method that you'd like to see tested. With that being said, let's get into the video. So as for today's moneymaker, as you already know from reading the title, we will be crafting Ruby bolt tips. Now for this, it is very simple. Gear setup wise, you don't need to be wearing anything unless you want to. All you need is a chisel in your inventory and a full inventory of rubies. And that is pretty much it. As you can see in our bank, we've purchased 1,500 total. If we need more, we'll buy some more, but I don't think we'll need more than that. So this is what we're working with. As for the whole bank setup, whatever, you could put bank fillers if you want to, but it's not really necessary with the select all option. And then as for the screen markers, if you really want to, you can put a deposit inventory screen marker, draw it on your screen. That way when you hover over the chest, you just click here, and then you can just hit deposit inventory as well. But like I said, this is going to work if you want to use the screen markers, because if you hit deposit inventory with this current setup, it is going to deposit the chisel as well. So if you want to do the whole screen marker thing, just make sure you put markers in your bank so that you don't put that in there. But yeah, so let's get started. So besides the supplies needed for this moneymaker, the only requirement you actually need is 63 fletching. Now, as of course, like with all of my moneymakers, make sure you do a price check on the rubies and the bolt tips to make sure that this is still profitable at the time of you watching this video. Now, as of the making of this video, for me right now, the wiki says that you can make about 350,000 GP per hour, which isn't bad considering that there aren't really too many requirements, and it is a very AFK moneymaker. It takes well over a minute to craft a full inventory of rubies into these bolt tips, so you can definitely play other accounts if you want to. Now, you won't be getting a lot of fletching XP for this method, but at least you get something. Unlike other moneymakers, like whenever you're making unfinished potions, yeah, you'll make a lot of money, but you also won't get any XP whatsoever. So the minor XP you get from this is kind of nice. And speaking of making unfinished potions, I noticed that on the wiki there is a lot of money to be made for degriming certain herbs. I think torsals were being advertised as being 1.5 mil to degrime. And the reason why I didn't make a moneymaker on that is because I checked the prices myself and they are very volatile. In order to get those crazy profits, you're gonna have to buy the torsals at the absolute lowest price, which for me at the time weren't selling. And of course, once you do clean them, you'll have to sell them for the absolute highest price, which is a little unlikely. Not impossible, but it is unlikely. So if you wanna risk it and try to make some crazy money on that, you can try it out, but for me personally, it just wasn't reliable enough to test. I will say though that the price definitely tempted me to try it out, especially now that we have a new way of doing it. In the past, you would have to individually click each herb or take it to an NPC to do it for you to clean all the herbs, but I think you lose money that way. But now we actually have a spell on the Arceus spellbook that will degrime the entire inventory for you, so it's a lot less click intensive. So in the future, I might give it a try, but for right now, we'll wait until the prices stabilize a little bit, especially now that Raids 3 has come out. And speaking of Raids 3, there could not have been a better time to do a moneymaker like this. Lately, there's been a lot of complaints saying that these servers are quite unstable and that it is pretty hard to do certain content with how bad they are, so a moneymaker like this, where you barely have to click at all, is fairly nice in times like this. It is good to see though that most people seem to be having fun with this new content. It does seem a lot more accessible than the previous raids, so that's nice to see that a larger group of people can actually enjoy this new content. I do see complaints, however, of drop rates being too common, but I think that's just a Reddit thing. I think, you know, people who get lucky are going to post their pictures. You're going to see a lot more people posting their good luck rather than their bad luck, but I feel like until we actually have access to the drop rates, we can't really decide whether the drops are too common. One thing that does seem to be a little off is the fact that normal mode seems to be the way to go over expert mode if you are looking to make some money, but I think they are planning on fixing that if they haven't already done that. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But getting back to the topic at hand, which is the moneymaker that we are currently doing, I gotta say it did feel kind of wrong breaking these precious gems into bolt tips, but I guess it's pretty balanced considering that these bolt tips are used to make very powerful bolts that are capable of hitting 100s on bosses. I am all too familiar with these bolts since I have killed quite a few Vorkath in my day, and I still have to go for the 10,000 kills one day, so I haven't really gotten the motivation to continue going for that. Once you've done as much Vorkath as I have, you really don't want to do anymore, but that 10,000 number just looks so clean, so I think eventually we will have to go for it. But with that being said, that is pretty much it for this moneymaker. Very straightforward, very AFK. Let's go ahead and take a look at how many ruby bolt tips we were able to make in this 1 hour. Alrighty, so after 1 hour of crafting these ruby bolt tips, we're left with 13,692 for a total price of 1.2 mil. Not bad. Let's go ahead and head over to the GE and sell them off. So it looks like the actively traded price is 90 coins, so I'll go ahead and put them in for that price. But obviously, if you want to make more money and maximize your profits, feel free to put it in there for a little bit more and let it sit overnight. As you can see, they well, not all of them, but a big chunk of them instantly sell, so you can definitely make a little bit more if you put it like around 92. That's not too much more, but since you're selling a lot of them, it does add to your profit quite a bit. So looks like we'll have no problem selling these off. So as we can see here, it took no time for all of the ruby bolt tips to sell. And now we can go ahead and calculate the total profit from this 1 hour of making the tips. So if we take into account the money spent on supplies, which was just buying the rubies, we have 853,468 GP. Subtract that from the money we made, which was 1,252,948 GP. That gives us a grand total profit of almost 400,000 GP. Not bad for a very AFK moneymaker. And here's also a look at the amount of fletching XP we got throughout this 1 hour. This actually caught me by surprise because I expected to see crafting XP at the end of this. I had completely forgot that we were fletching bolt tips and not cutting gems with the chisel. I just want to say thanks for checking out the video, and thank you to all of my channel members, with a special thanks to ACR Beans and Chris. Once again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, I will catch you guys in the next episode.